It's time for the Hab-normals podcast. All Habs, all the time. Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to Hab-normals. This is episode number 19. We are 2/3 of the normal group tonight. Harry couldn't be with us tonight. So I don't have much prepared for this monologue. So I'll just tell you what we're going to talk about. And we're going to start with that fantastic game that happened last night in Montreal in Colorado. And they took on the hottest team in the league. And they beat them. And guess who predicted that, by the way? Guess who predicted the win for the game last night? This guy. Yeah, no, I thought they were going to win. Colorado was due for a loss. So anyway, so we're going to talk about that and a couple things around that. We're going to talk about Slafkovsky. You're right, Slafkovsky.
Yes.
Let a new. Oh yeah, I should say, hey, my co-host Matt.
Yo,
I forgot about him. It's one of those nights. Just letting you know. So we're going to talk about Slaf.
them fighting words.
Them fighting words. Oh, you see, Slaf wanted to fight last night. That's a really good aspect, or we'll talk about that, of his...
I mean, I wouldn't fight him. He's fucking 6'4", 230 pounds of friggin' meat.
Yeah, seriously,
Beat the
but I
hell
mean,
out of
he
him.
doesn't take shit anymore, and I forget what the incident was. I really do, but I mean, he went after... He was going to fight
He's
if he had...
He's big.
Yeah, no, listen, and when he gets, 4 or 5 years down the road... So we're going to talk about Slaf, his ceiling, because you know what? I think we can start talking about what his ceiling is going to be. Let Matt yawn. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to let Matt talk about this because Matt was at the game, the Boston University and Boston College game.
Yep.
For the Hockey East Championship that was won by Boston College University. Yes, I got it right.
Yeah.
And Jacob Fowler. And
Which is
Jacob
why
Fowler,
they won the game.
Yes, and literally you could literally point to some saves that he literally won the game.
3, 4.
Yeah. And I read this not just from Matt, who Matt likes to be a little bit, he's a little bit rose-colored glasses, which is understandable. But what he's going to tell you, I read this elsewhere too. So not just coming from Matt. Fowler literally won that game. Was maybe the biggest part of that win. His second championship in a row, 2 years in a row. From the USHL, he won that championship, and then he won this one, stepping up a level and still not missing a beat. We'll let Matt tell you what he saw at the game. We're going to talk about Captain Nick Suzuki and his potentially being named to the Canadian Olympic team for the upcoming Olympics. We're going to quickly touch on, because I don't know all the details here, about the Trois-Rivières Lions, which was the Habs, was basically the Habs ECHL
affiliate.
Team, affiliate, yeah.
3 Rivers.
But an affiliate, they didn't own them. And then at the end, we're going to probably rant a little bit about the refs, because the refs it's becoming a little ridiculous. I have my theory. Matt has his theory. They're not necessarily the same, but we'll give you what our thoughts are on I'm going to be polite here and say the god-awful fucking NHL refs. And I'm being polite now. So that's what's on the agenda tonight. Hopefully you guys will like that. As always, let us know what you think by leaving a comment. Either you can reach us by email at talkinghabs@gmx.com. You can leave. I'm not sure if you can leave a written comment, but we'll try to leave it open for comments. I forget because I upload the other podcast and I can't remember. We'll try to leave it so you can comment, or you can leave a voice comment directly to us, and we will get that. And please do that. Let us know what you think about anything that we're talking about here tonight. We're going to start off with the game last night. Montreal beat Colorado Rockies. How long ago did that come from?
Are we talking? Just talking baseball or talking Habs?
No, that's hockey. When I was a kid, Colorado had a team, Colorado Rockies.
No, I know they did. Now they're the baseball team.
Where did that come from so long ago to come out of my mouth so naturally?
Rick is old.
No, but really, like, it just goes to show you, right? Something like that, how that came out so naturally in my brain too. Like, and that's so old. When did the Rockies? 70s? Sometime in the 70s, the Rockies
That was
came and
way
went.
before my time.
They came and went within a few years. So anyway, Colorado Avalanche. Avalanche were going into this game the hottest team in the league on a 9-game winning streak. Nathan McKinnon on a 34-game home point streak, which he extended with the Colorado's only goal. It was a glimpse into the future of what this team can be. And it was just a fantastic game. And not just Monty. Monty did steal this game in that he made some fantastic saves, kept them in it. There's no doubt about that. But I think the team overall, the whole team as a whole, played just a fantastic game where they competed all the way through. Mm-hmm. Both teams had a bit of a letdown in the second in that it wasn't as an exciting period as the other two were. But, man, first and third periods were good, exciting, and you didn't know what the outcome was going to be, literally. So, that's always great. So, in this talk, I want to talk about, the rebuild and kind of the length that this rebuild is going to have, and potentially a playoff team next season. So, Matt, since we didn't really talk, we talked about a few things, getting ready for this. We didn't really talk about this because I don't think Matt saw the whole game last night. But what are your thoughts on what I just said? And then we'll go from there.
No, look, I think you're absolutely right. I think, even though we're, again, that bottom 5, bottom 6 spot, I'm seeing a lot of things that, again, they'll build upon and just get better and better every year. I mean, we just look at the numbers of the big guys like Suzuki, Caulfield. Like, every year they're getting better and better. Like, the more hockey they play, the better and better they're getting.
Suzuki broke his season total last year. Got his 29th goal, by the way, so he's only one away from 30. But he also got his 67th point. So another year where Nick Suzuki is better than he was last year points-wise, and that's with 11 games left. So that number will go up again also.
Oh, yeah. No, he'll be over 70. And again, I mean, even a player like Slafkovsky, who, I mean, last year obviously got injured. And, it was his first season. I mean, this year...
He had a lot to learn last year. I mean, he just did.
Right. And I wouldn't argue with that. Nobody would argue with that. Nobody. But, I think this year's been a total 180.
Jeez.
Like, we've seen... he's showing us every game what he's learned, how much more comfortable he's been getting every game. He's using his big frame now. He's not taking shit from everybody. We know now he's got one hell of a clap bomb on the one-timer. Yeah. He's still...
You're jumping ahead a little bit, though. We're talking about Slaf in a bit, but there's still some more to talk about the game, even though you didn't see it. How much of the game did you see last night?
Not much, really, at all. I was watching more of the Flyers and the Rangers, just because it was just such a back and forth game.
I see. Trader. Okay, let me ask you. You were in the chat for a little bit last night, weren't you? Or am I wrong? You weren't. Okay. So even though you didn't see the game last night, let me just say this: fantastic game from Montreal. They competed all the way through. They were determined to be a spoiler of some sort, even if it was just to spoil the Avalanche from being the President's Trophy winner, because they were only 1 point out of the first place spot. It's just a wonderful game that you could see the future of this team. Like next year when we've got Doc back in the lineup, he stays healthy. We might have
Hudson should be in the lineup.
Have Hudson, maybe even Reinbacher to start the season. When we've got these new additions, coming in, you can see that this is not going to be much longer, the rebuild. The rebuild is like, if I'm one of those Habs fans that are like, I can't take it anymore. I don't think you got much longer to take it. Like, literally, next season, if they stay healthy, they're going to be better. The kids this year are going to be that much better next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think this team is going to be contending for a playoff spot.
Next year, if we stay healthy, I mean, yeah, I think so.
If you look at the way they played against Colorado, and this is, Montreal, not a complete team yet. Not a good team, really, if you look at the standings, right? I mean, they were not. I wouldn't say that they didn't dominate Colorado in any way, but they were toe to toe with Colorado, and that's with missing a second line. Because although a highly motivated Alex Newhook had a fantastic game, so. Armia was good. Gallagher fought hard. Gallagher didn't do too bad either.
I know. I did see Armia's goal. I do know that he had a very good game, which is something good. We don't really say a lot about Yoel Armia.
This year, a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the point being that with a strong second line, and this one is not as strong. If Doc is there, this line wasn't as strong. But still, they were highly motivated. Played well, and you can see the difference. They could compete with virtually the best team in the league right now. Going into this game,
and we've seen it in spurts throughout the season. I mean, the game a few weeks ago, even against Boston, I thought we went toe to toe with Boston pretty well. Like there's been games like that, and obviously games where we've been smashed. But again, I mean a lot of the young kids on defense are still learning. I mean, it's just part of the growing
pains. It's part of.
But yeah, I mean, if this team trends like the way that a lot of these players have been trending that have been here for a few years, like next year, I think you'll see improvement in a lot of guys, and the guys like Suzuki, Caulfield, like Slafkovsky, you'll see improvements in them. I mean, they'll still keep getting better.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, when they're healthy, like this, if you're one of those fans that just don't want it to be a long rebuild and can't take them losing anymore and all that good stuff. I don't think you have that much longer to wait. I mean, I really do. I think this team is going to make a quick rebuild of this.
No, I've sort of said that. And even I think this year, if Doc was healthy, I think we're where I thought we'd be, probably around 10th from the bottom. But I
think even higher up. I think we're in that race for that last wild card spot with a healthy Doc.
Could be, yeah. I mean, I do think we're certainly knocking on the door of that. Because I think you and I saw it after that first game. We were like, "Holy shit, Kirby Doc's about to break out and put the league on notice." Like we saw.
And when that happens, and you got two solid, lines at the top, teams can't focus on just one line and shut it down. And when you've got that where they can't shut that down, and then if you have some secondary, third and fourth line are contributing. I mean, you're right in there. And how far are we? We're a few players away. There needs to be some additions.
Yeah, I mean, I think a wing on the second line would be my top priority because I think Doc and Newhook solidify two of the spots on that second line. Get them a wing to play with, and then I mean, there's guys in the system right now, and I mean, there's even we're gonna have so much money in free agency. It could always be a guy or two to pluck there, but. In terms of the bottom six, I mean, you can kind of mix and match some stuff. But in terms of the top six, we're really a winger away from solidifying that for like the next decade.
Yeah, I think so.
I think defensively, we're not that far away from solidifying that. I think Goalie's there for a decade. I think obviously Lane Hudson coming up is going to just add another dimension to this team because now we're going to have a go-to defenseman who's going to facilitate the puck up the ice. He can join the rush. And, I think the power play is going to be that much better with him facilitating.
And if Ryan Bacher's here, And Reinbacher's here at the same time, like the beginning of the season.
And they're no slouches. Like Lane Hudson
It's gonna be
isn't.
good.
He's not like, he's not going to blow you away with his defense, but like even the game against Boston College, even though BU got smashed up, like he made like, I'd say 3 really good defensive plays that saved goals.
I mean, he's
becoming
adequate.
Defense.
He's becoming adequate, which, you know what, for an offensive defenseman who has the potential to rack up legitimately 60 to 80 points, say, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's adequate defensively, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Because you can pair him with a guy like
pair him up with the right guy,
or a guy like David Reinbacher, who are solid on defense, and
you pair him up with the right guy.
A terrifically balanced pair.
Yeah, and that facilitates the forwards to, like they're catching that puck on the fly. At full speed. When you're doing that, it's so much harder to defend.
Especially when you got guys like Suzuki, Caulfield, and Newhook that can flat out skate.
Yeah, I mean, and
you
already
hit those guys on the fly more often than not, unless it's like an Adam Fox or Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes on the back end. Not a lot of D-men are going to be able to catch them.
And it's already showing because that line is already becoming a dominant line. When they're out there, they're dominating the metrics. It's crazy how good, and they're going to get a lot better over the next. You got to figure over the next 3 years that top line has to improve, like in abundance, even compared to what they are right now.
I think it goes without saying, Cole Caulfield's goal scoring touch will be back sooner rather than later. I think,
right.
Again, this season he's still getting used to his shoulder, but I think once, this season he's gotten to kind of work it out a little bit, and over the summer he'll drill down on it. And next season, if that comes back with his playmaking ability,
right, and he's added that playmaking,
he could be a damn near point per game guy.
I think all three of them will. You know what? I'm going to say this: in their time together, there will be a season where all 3 of them will be.
I think so.
Point per game players. Will there be multiple seasons? I think there will be, but if they're not like all,
I think really Suzuki's for sure is going to be a multiple season point per game guy. I think regardless, I think Suzuki's that good and keeps getting that much better.
Honestly, I think Suzuki will be a point per game guy, except on a bad season.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's that good
because he's going to be close already this season.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think it's going to fall so far back where he's not. There'll be a season where he has a bad season. Everyone has bad seasons, but yeah, I think so. And there'll be a 100 goal line as well.
Oh, I think so. Easy.
Yeah, maybe not as, but I mean they will get to where they're 100 goals.
Well, but I think too, like again, with how much better I think the power play is going to get with Lane Hudson quarterbacking it.
Yeah,
and the fact that Slafkovsky's got a one-timer now, so that'll kind of spread the PK out a little bit, and then you basically pick your poison. You want Slaf taking the shot, or you want Caulfield taking the shot,
right? Because
they're both bad choices.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that first unit, when you add Hudson quarterbacking it. You give them 2-3 years to, they're going to just get better every year.
I mean, the way he's passing the puck now, I mean, we might even see some of that improvement next year. Like there were times, even again in the Hockey East final last weekend, where he was putting pucks on platters, and honestly, the way he was passing it was more so at a pro level, and I think that's why a lot of the BU guys were missing him, except for like a guy like Macklin Celebrini. But like that's how good he is at passing the puck around and finding his guys.
Yeah,
I think that's already at a pro level. I think he gets that going like when he joins the Canadiens. I mean, a guy like Caulfield, a guy like Slafkovsky, I mean, they're gonna rack up goals.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. I think Hudson's gonna come in next year, and he's gonna have an impact of some sort, just like Hughes did, just like Makar did.
Yeah.
It wasn't what they are today, but when they came in, they had an impact right away.
Oh yeah, no, and I think I agree. I think Lane Hudson's going to be the same way.
He's going to be the same way. He's going to have an impact that's going to grow every year. All right, let's move on to Slafkovsky. How did I say it? Slafkovsky set a new record last night. Remember, we're recording this on a Wednesday, and they played Colorado Tuesday. So the record is most points in a season by a teenager, and was held by Mario Tremblay, the hated now Mario Tremblay, who was a great player in his day, at 39 points, with Slaf tied the game before. And on the primary assist on the, whose goal was it? Suzuki's goal. He got his 40th point. And he's got one more game before he turns 20. So he can maybe get another point or two on that. You never know. So that's a new record. I don't know that it'll ever get touched, but you know, the way kids today, the talent, the thing is, if Montreal starts to improve, are they going to get those kids for a little while? I don't know, but that record could stand for a little while. Slafkovsky. He also is now second. I don't know who he's tied with for most teenager points in Habs history. And this might be even in league, but he's got 50, I believe, now. So he's got 50 points before he is 20. And he's right up there in that list as well. So definitely an impact player here in Slaf. He's showing all the signs. He's doing all those little things that we've had guys that were touted to be, but they didn't do these kind of things, right? They didn't do anything like Slaf is doing, right? So there's a difference there. He had 2 8-game point streaks this year so far, and he's currently on 1. So that could be increased to 9 tomorrow. Anyways, I'm not sure where I'm going there right now, but next I want to talk about his ceiling, because I believe we can start seeing and predicting what Slafkovsky's ceiling is, if we can get Matt's attention.
No, I'm here. No, I was looking up that where Slaf is for teenager points.
Oh, for that thing, yeah. Would you agree with me that even though, I mean, it's only his second season, he is what game are we at? 71. He's played 81 games. I think I can predict his ceiling already.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you could.
You got any you want me to go first and then you try to copy me after?
No, I'm not going to copy.
Agree with me? No, I'm just bugging you now. Okay, this is what I say. He is a potential, at this point per game player over an 82-game season. I think he will perennially deliver 30 to 40 goals, 40 to 50 assists, for 70 to 90 points, depending on the season. I don't think that's out of the question to say that he perennially will get 70 points when he's on a pace for that, like now. If he was, I don't know, when did it start? When he got put on that first line. From then to now, he's on a pace for those kind of numbers, right? At 19. So in 2-3 years, it's not a stretch to say that should be his like almost minimum, unless he has like a really horrible season for some reason. I think he'll also be a physical force. You know, in checking along the boards, fighting for the puck.
Just puck protection too. I mean, guys aren't going to be able to knock him off the puck.
Puck protection and sticking up for his teammates that are on the ice with him. I think that's, he's going to be a physical force out there as well, because he's already showing signs of just not being afraid. He's not afraid of the other players, even though they're older than him, because they're not bigger than him. So,
finally went, wait a minute, I'm 6'4", 230 fucking pounds. I'm humongous big. I use big body and bang people.
You know what was a good sign also? He was asked about setting the record, and if he was happy and excited, and he said it's not that he's not happy, but he's not overly excited, because he said I'd rather win a game. I'd rather win, get into the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup. Like, I'd rather win than my personal stats. Which you want it. You don't want. You know what I mean? That's a mature answer. That's a mature way to look at it. He's not there. Oh yeah, I'm so blah 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 about myself. He's calm about himself and just saying, yeah, I'd rather the team. We go somewhere, we do something, we're in the playoffs. I like that. That's a maturity level that at 19.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the young kids kind of shared that same mentality, right? And I think that's why the Canadians are so, I don't want to say uptight, but that's why they make sure these kids check these boxes, because they don't want they don't want egos in the locker room. They want guys that are gel together and
Guys that are run through a
understand what
brick
what
wall.
the real goal is here, and understand that they need to play team hockey and not
Yeah.
me
And,
hockey.
and that's a good point right there, actually, is that, it's a team sport, obviously. But if they want to get to where they want to get to, which is a Stanley Cup, they got to play as a team. They got to be a team. They got to just team bonding. And this team has that. These guys will run through a brick wall for each other, and they will stick up for each other. And that's going to go a long way.
I mean, Aubrey just has to punch the fucking wall and it'll disintegrate.
Pretty much.
But no, and that's a lot of not even just hockey, but a lot of great teams in general, like just in the history of sport. Like I think of a lot of the big great Celtics teams. It's the same type of mentality. It's you got to be able to play as a team. You can't have egos. You got to everyone's got to keep each other in check.
You can have egos, though.
That's how you become a great team.
You can have egos. That's not, but as long as you respect each other.
But that's what I mean when I say you got to keep everybody in check.
It kind of, you know what? It's odd. It kind of makes me think of the, I don't know what year it was, the 80s, the New York Mets, when Gary Carter was there and they won the championship. We hated them. Everybody in the league hated them. But what made them work? They liked each other. Their egos meshed, and they fought for each other and played for each other. And they were the best team. Even though everybody hated them, it for some reason it reminds. I don't think everyone hates the Habs, but it's that it doesn't matter what type of team you are. You play for each other and pull for each other and respect each other, and and you'll be the best.
If I remember that World Series right, I think that's the Buckner one. So I'm gonna have to punch you in the face for bringing that up.
I won't forget that. That you guys had it in the bag, and Buckner just what happened?
Which sucks because Bill Buckner is actually a really good baseball player.
Yeah, he was.
That one fucking thing, just like,
and he'll never be forgotten he'll never be remembered literally for almost anything but that.
I know.
That's the sucky
thing. It sucks because he was a really good baseball, really good hitter.
So I don't know if it was that World Series or not, but yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to the hockey here. So what do you think about his ceiling? What I said,
I mean, honestly, and I said I didn't want to completely agree with you, but I think you're on the money. I think 30 goal, 40 assists, perennially right in that range. Maybe even like 40, a couple of 40-40 seasons. But I think he'll definitely hover between 70 to 80, 70 points to 80 to a point a game, and maybe even a little more. I think that's what that first line is just capable of. Those three guys playing together, and it's such a balanced line. And I think if they're bringing the right winger for the second line, I think you have a second line that's just as balanced and again has those aspects where you have kind of Doc as that physical presence. That'll move guys, protect the puck. I mean, literally, we've seen him just skate through guys to get the puck.
Literally, it's not a joke. He literally does do that.
Like, so yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit, I think.
Yeah, when you have two lines, like I remember Montreal, who wasn't necessarily like center strong at any particular point, right? But still had two good lines. Number one line, obviously, Lemaire, Shutt, Lafleur, unstoppable. But that second line was a good, solid line. Like they weren't like stiffs out there, right? So it allowed that first line to just blossom and do almost whatever they wanted. I mean, literally. So I think that can happen here when you get that, and teams cannot key on. Shut down one line. When you can't shut down that offense, you're going to be that's a winning team, right?
No, without a doubt. And like and they're building it the right way, because again they also have that good foundational, defense starting to shape up, and we'll get to the goaltending in a little bit when I talk about Jacob Fowler, but like shit, with Fowler waiting in the wings, with Primo already here, Montembeault. I mean, even Dobish, who's ever since Kafsky joined the Rocket, Dobish has been a hell of a lot better. Like, there's some goalie depth.
Dobish got his work cut out for him at this point, though, with Primo emerging the way he has.
Oh, and Jacob Fowler.
Fowler, okay, but I'm saying, with Primo, who I guess for us fans, we're not expecting what we're seeing this year from him. Dobish really has his work cut out for him. But
again, though, it's really good depth. God forbid an injury happens.
An injury, yeah. It's great depth.
You can call him up and, I think he'd be okay.
Yeah. And that's the whole point, right? And you need guys down there that are good. If you don't have them,
and that's why I like when they brought in Kafsky because I thought honestly that's what Dobish needed. He needed a veteran backup that had been there.
And that's not even that's without talking about a guy who I don't know hardly anything about, is that Russian kid we drafted last year. What's his name? I don't know. Volonkov, something like that. Something like that. I don't even know his name. But when Treg was on, he was talking about him and said, like, don't overlook this kid. So there's some really good goaltender depth. So speaking of that now,
everywhere, man. Like,
everywhere
you look. But goaltending wise, yeah.
But what I mean by that, and to point that out in particular, was if you go back to, say, the year before or when Hughes came in, right? Goaltender depth was not something we had at all.
No. I think we had the Carey Price, whatever was left of Jake Allen.
Right, and then
no!
There weren't even enough goalies when the injuries hit. Like, there weren't enough goalies.
Yeah, that's why we had to go out and get Montembeault.
Right, and you look back 2 years later, and it's a strength.
And I talked about this a couple episodes ago when we talked about Kent Hughes, and I said, well, what has he done in his 2 drafts here? The first draft added really good talent depth-wise across forwards and defense, and arguably added our 2 top defensemen now for the next decade in Reinbacher and Lane Hudson. And what did he do last year? He addressed the need, he got Reinbacher last year, but after Reinbacher, what did he do? He addressed the need of goaltending because he said, you know what? I need to key on that this year because I feel comfortable with what we have depth-wise and talent potential-wise with the other positions, but we need goaltending. So what did he do? Well, he went out and got the best goalie prospect in hockey right now, and Jacob Fowler, that kid from Russia, and then a couple other guys just to add depth.
Yep. Yeah, he totally.
I mean, he knows what the hell he's doing. Like, he really does. Like, him and Jeff Gorton are so smart.
Yeah,
it's not even funny. Like,
yeah. Well, we'll get into them another time. But since we're talking about goalies, let everybody know what you saw. Let everyone know what you saw, like where you were and what Fowler.
Yeah,
try to keep it to Fowler because we're talking about Fowler.
I absolutely.
I say that because there's other players there that you could talk about, but let's just try to keep it mostly to Fowler.
Yeah. So last weekend, hockey's final, BU versus BC, Hudson and Tuck versus Fowler. Honestly, the score was really lopsided, but it really was kept that way because Jacob Fowler was just. I mean, honestly, it felt like watching Carey Price in his prime play. And I don't say that, like, I don't say that to sound crazy or anything. Like, legitimately, he was so calm and cool in between the pipes the whole game. The way he was able to read every shot coming in, even in the screen, he knew exactly where to be so the shot would hit off his shoulder. Like, it's just a sixth sense of knowing where to be positionally.
And at the same time,
he made a couple of saves where I don't know how he got his, like, he made a post save on. I don't know if it was Hudson or somebody else. I don't know how the hell he kicked his toe out in time.
The acrobatics that he showed were also very reminiscent of Price, who was a great positional goalie. But man, let me rephrase that. He had made some saves that I had never seen any goalie make before. Carey Price, acrobatically, like crazy.
Right, and
Jacob Fowler looks like that too.
And Rick's old enough to have seen Dominic Hasek play. So I mean, that's
right. Yeah, No, Fowler has that ability too to not only be
And the
positionally
puck
great,
playing.
but
I mean, he knows when to come out to play the puck. He got an assist on was Cutter Gautier's power play goal at the end of the second. Knew exactly when to come out to play the puck. Laser beam pass to Will Smith up the sidewall, and Smith got it across to Gauthier. Like, you can't teach that stuff. He knows exactly when to play the puck, exactly how to wait a pass, to fling it up.
Focused.
He saw BU going for a change. He said, "All right, I got this." Went out, got the puck, zoom. Like it's not natural how much he looked like a professional goalie in that game. Like, it was ridiculous, and he was so calm. Like Carey Price said, he's got that it fat. Like, nothing bothers him.
I'll tell you something.
Like, under the pressure, like if you're in a championship game and he's your goalie, like, you basically win because he's
a big game goalie. And you know what else I noticed?
He's not going to get fazed by anything.
After that game, writers starting to mention that if he has a good season next year, he makes the jump.
Oh, I think so. And I mean, he's coming off a season as an 18-year-old, where as an 18-year-old where he had like a .930 save percentage. I think he went something like 28 or 29-1, and BC does have a good team in front of them, and I can tell you this from watching highlights and watching games, most of those games, because those scores were lopsided because of him. Because there were games where BC didn't play well, but the fuck did he stand on his head and make key saves? Like, it is ridiculous how good he is already.
Another reminder of, like, Carey Price there. Like,
no, seriously. Like, I'm watching it and I'm going, I think his parents went into a lab and said, Carey Price, Patrick Waugh, gave it a shake, and Jacob Fowler.
And then, hey, the father had to first do that.
No, but serious. Like, it's ridiculous how much his goaltending is reminiscent as if you combined the DNA of those two Habs greats and put them together.
Yeah, he has a lot of Carey Price's traits. I have to say.
And like I say, I put Patrick Waugh in there too just because of that mentality, that calmness.
He's got that laser focus of concentration and knowing the forwards that are coming at him.
The defense too, like Lane Hudson.
Well, okay.
Lane Hudson a couple times
knowing the players that are coming at him.
Like, he knew exactly where Lane Hudson was going to shoot from, and he was there before Hudson even shot the fucking puck. Like, it's like he knew it a step ahead of time.
He's a goalie who studies the team that he's going to be playing against next, and knows the tendencies of those players. And so when he recognizes that he's got the puck, he knows where to kind of be. It informs him how to make a save.
I mean, even through screens, he was like...
That's not teachable. That's not teachable, by the way.
No, it's not. And, like, there were shots through screens where I thought was sure goals, and he just knew where to be for the puck to hit him.
Yeah, I don't think...
He knew he couldn't see the puck, but, like, there were at least 2 or 3 shots that went through screens, and he was just there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he, not that he was ever going to try to make, like, a fancy save, but he just, all right, if I'm here, the puck's going to hit me. Because I know I can kind of see the angle where it's going to come from. So if I'm here, it's going to hit me, and it hit him.
I think it's a natural ability that obviously not every goalie has.
No, like he's doing things you can't. Just the awareness too. Again, on that assist when he came out to play the puck, to know he took one quick look, saw BU go for a change. It was boom, without hesitation.
Well, I mean, a goalie that, like, you're just the way we're talking about him, processes really quick and can make decisions really quick. And that's what you're talking about there. That's a quick decision. He saw what he saw, made the decision, and go. That's processing information so fast, Oh, hockey players today freak me out how fast they process.
And that's why, I was sitting there and I'm like, "Is that Carey Price?" No, seriously, I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "This isn't a college hockey player. Like, this kid is playing like professional hockey goaltenders play. It's ridiculous."
Yeah. I think that's what is. Well, that's the unknown from where he came from. Stepping up into college at 18, it's an unknown. You don't know how he's going to react. But this kid reacted in all the right ways that championship goalies react.
And he's in the hardest conference, in my opinion, in college hockey to play in. And he's on a team that historically pumps out really good goaltenders. And I've said it since I saw that he committed there. I'm like, he's gonna be phenomenal. He's gonna be the goaltender that carries us to our next. Not carry in the sense that like Carey Price had to carry teams, because we're gonna have a team in front of him. But like, once he's here and he's between the pipes, I find it hard to believe we're gonna lose a lot of games just because he's that good.
Yeah, if you're looking to win championships, that's the kind of goal you need, because when you get in that position, they don't let you down very often.
No, and it's just his ability at only 18 just to not get phased at in those big time games.
Yeah,
like he was just playing, like he was just playing on the, like it was like pond hockey, like he was just having a good time. I was like, and I turned to my buddy Chris. I said, "You better shit your pants if we meet you in the playoffs." And he's between the pipes, because I don't think you're winning.
You know what he said about pressure, right? He said pressure was a privilege, being under that.
Yeah,
he eats pressure like that for breakfast. That he lives and thrives off that pressure, because he's got that right attitude. So you have your goalie. You go to, say, 7th game of a Stanley Cup final. Is there more pressure in hockey than that? And this guy eats pressure for breakfast. That's guy I want in nets.
No, seriously. And you know, it's funny too. If you look on his Twitter page, his profile picture is him in a Carey Price jersey.
Yeah, because Carey Price was the same.
He grew up a Habs fan. Like his whole
family. Yeah, no, I know that. It's 100% legit. And I mean, Carey Price was the same. Eats pressure for breakfast. Patrick Waugh was the same. Ken Dryden was the same.
Like that's why. And I said it on Twitter that night. I said, I've seen enough. I've seen enough out of him. Like, I've seen enough similarities. I'm like, he's going to be the next great Habs goalie. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
I've seen enough.
Yeah. I thought this, obviously, after we drafted him, I researched him and all that. His first year in college only proves that what I thought I saw, my experience, whatever, was right, because this kid went out and did his first year in college. He did exactly what he had to do. That great.
He's in I think he finished in the top 5 in save percentage and goals against.
He did what
freaking 18-year-old. Like he went toe to toe with Trey Augustine and smoked him.
He did what great.
Like, I'm petrified if BC gets in the national title game, because they're not going to lose, because he's going to be in net. Like there's no way they lose.
His second time in a championship position to win, and he won effortlessly, almost not effortlessly, but he made it look like it.
No, but then, and like after the game, when they gave him, like when they named him as like one of the players of the tournament, like he just was like, cool, you know what I mean? Like it didn't even like he was smiling and stuff, but like, he just acted like it was no sweat. Of like, that's freaky.
That's how AJ.
If he's on the other team, I am shitting my pants.
That's pretty much how AJ Baines described Carey Price.
Yeah,
cool and calm like that, and just didn't faze him. Whatever didn't faze him. Yeah. Like when they picked him up, they were that story when they first picked him up, brought him to the apartment. They're playing games, and he said like, you're gonna have to do this or that. He goes, oh yeah, is that it? Oh, cool. Like it didn't, like he's a kid, and it didn't bother him that he was gonna have to go out there and play the game of his life. And it was like, yeah, no worries, I can do that. Like that's what this kid's got. It seems like. We're still jumping the gun a little bit.
Maybe a little, man. But like I said, like I'm a college hockey nut. The fact that he's having this season as an 18-year-old in, much better NCAA than it was in the past, and playing against, the high level, caliber of players and prospects that are in college hockey now. Like I said, I've seen enough. Like I'm convinced if he has another year like this next year, he's making the jump. And dare I say, like we're gonna be in another 3 goalie situation, because I don't know how he plays in Laval. Like if he makes the jump and impresses in camp, I don't know how they send him down. Granted, he's exempt, so they can.
It wouldn't, because he's a goalie. I'm gonna say it's not gonna shock me if he plays a year in Laval.
No, me neither. But I think that would be absolutely it. He might only even play half a year.
Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he starts in Laval. especially if you got Monty and Primo, they're playing well.
Yeah.
Start him in Laval. Number one is that he's a goalie, right? So you're not worried about guys taking him out against the boards and doing it, right? He's a goalie. So he's not going to feel that physical and whatever intimidation or get hurt that way.
No, especially if Florian Xhekaj is in Laval next year.
No, true. But I mean, even if not, it's a goalie position. So, no, I think he starts in Laval and then.
No, I can see that for sure. But like I said, like man, like he might only end up like they might get halfway through the season and go like he might need to make the jump. Like, you know what I mean?
He does a full season, and then next year he starts in Montreal. I mean, either way, it looks like it's good possibility that whatever we were guessing for him till he got here, that's dropped by about a year.
Oh, I think so.
I
mean, without a doubt, it's not natural how good he is at the position at only 18 years old. Like it's ridiculous.
Or you could say he is a natural, and that's why he's so good. I
just think he's a robot. I don't think he's human.
Yeah. No, listen. You know what? He's really driven, very competitive.
He's a great kid too. Really,
and he's got
Carey Price said it. I mean, he's got that it factor. And then, honestly, when Price said that too, I didn't really know much about Fowler other than some of his numbers in the USHL. I went, all right, I'm keeping my eye on him because if Price says that about you, like there's something there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you got to think there is, and he was 100% right. That's for sure. It certainly played out that way. All right, let's move on because we remember I said I don't think I'll let you talk. I'm not going to be able to say much about Fowler. I was wrong. All right, let's move on to Captain Nick Suzuki. The Olympics are coming up. When are they exactly? Do you know which year? 26?
Yeah, I believe 26.
So the Winter Olympics, we'll just say the next one. It's not in an odd year, so it's going to be in 26, I guess. So the NHL back in. NHL players are back in. Talk is will Nick Suzuki be named to the Olympic team? He wants to be. He definitely wants to be named. He wants to play for Canada, and he thinks he can contribute a lot, and so do I. So just we don't have to spend a lot of time. The question was, will Nick Suzuki be named to Team Canada for the Olympics? To me, it's obvious that it's going to be a yes, because another year down the road, right, he's going to be that much better. He's a Patrice Bergeron type, which you want that guy on the team.
I mean, if you look at it right now, right? I mean, the top two centers are obviously going to be McDavid and McKinnon.
Right.
I don't really see anyone else besides Suzuki to play a 3C.
I could see a 3. The talk is he'll be the 4th C.
Who'd play 3C?
I think it's still using Stamkos, but in that article said by the time the Olympics come around, this is why Stamkos could be aged out of that by that time.
He'll be what, 36?
Yeah, so it's just for now. So you might be right. Could be 3C, could be 4C, but it's not going to be.
But no, he should still make the team. I don't see why he wouldn't.
I think he'll be named. I mean, look at what he's playing. Look at what he's playing just take the last 10 games. He's been playing fantastic. Even on nights he doesn't score or get an assist, but the defense, the two-way game is fantastic. Well, one aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. I think it'd be dumb to exclude him. You know, I think he's one of the best young players in hockey right now, and he's only going to get better.
And I guess the question is, will he be named? He'll definitely be invited to the camp, right? You got to think, there's no way they're not inviting Suzuki to Team Canada. Mm-hmm. And then I think from there, I mean, he's gonna make it. He's just too good not to. Plus, he's not one of those centers that it doesn't make sense to play him 3rd or 4th. You don't play a McDavid third or fourth, right? But a Nick Suzuki has that type of game where he could thrive there still,
Right.
and really contribute, and that's another reason why. And I don't think there's anybody else in Canada. There might be a couple of guys, but I mean, he's in a small group that really makes sense to play there.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's gonna be fun, man. Team USA is gonna be awesome too.
I think they're going to be, there's going to be a few countries that are going to be pretty freaking good.
I mean, hell, Slovakia by that time with Slaf and probably Nisha.
Yeah, I mean, there's Sweden, Finland, who maybe hasn't been at their best last year or two, but I mean, you can't count them out.
Czechia probably. I don't think Czechia will be on the level as like a U.S., a Sweden, or Canada, but I think Czechia will be able to compete.
I think it's going to be the most competitive Winter Olympics hockey that I think I'm ever going to have seen.
I think so.
From a standpoint of how many teams literally could win it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, even look at, again, like a guy like Caulfield, I think will definitely get invited to the Team USA camp.
Yeah.
I think more than likely he'll get named to that team too. If not on the top two lines, again, he could probably play him at the third. But by that time, I mean, he'd probably be a second line guy.
I mean, his goal scoring, I would expect to be up. But I mean, look, he's become a playmaker too now. Plus, he back checks like he's a great back checker. He's a good forechecker. I mean, he has a pretty complete game now too. Caulfield, I find.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't have the size, okay, but it might not matter as much in international play anyway.
Well, it's a bigger rink too.
Right.
And more room to skate.
And he can skate. So, I mean, he's an asset. I think he goes to the American team too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the Olympics should be really good hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's the countries other than U.S. and Canada have improved since the last time NHL players were in the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
So the level of play is going to be amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to the 4 Nation face-off too next year. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that one. Yeah, it's kind of like a lead up to the Olympics, right?
Yeah. Instead of the All-Star break, they're doing that. It's between Montreal and Boston. I think the games are going to be.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
I'm gonna try to go to a couple of those because I'd love to see Team USA in person.
I probably won't, but you never know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And on Team Canada, since we're on that, I think Monty's going to make it as far as the nets.
Yeah, I don't really know goalie wise where Canada is going to be.
Yeah, it's not our strong point right now. So
it's going to be our strong point.
But I mean, you've
got
have
Ottinger, Hellebuck.
Yeah, you guys will have more. It's Aiden
might have
Hill.
Thatcher you might end up having Thatcher Demko.
No, he's not a Canadian. He is British. I want to say he's something else. He's not Canadian, is he?
You would have had Carter Hart, but we know what happened there.
But Demko's name wasn't mentioned in what I was reading. It was Aiden Hill, Tristan Jarry, and then it goes downhill because Carey Price is retired.
Oh, Thatcher Demko is an American.
Yeah, I knew Demko wasn't Canadian. I didn't know where he was.
Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger.
It's riches. You got riches in nets. You got like just an abundance of riches. But for Habs players that could be in, how about that? Habs players that could be in the Olympics.
I think Caulfield, Suzuki, Slaf. It wouldn't shock me too if Lane Hudson has a really good first 2 seasons. He might get a look at Team USA camp.
He might. He definitely might. Reinbacher for Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Caden Goalie could get a look for Team Canada. I don't know what Team Canada's defense will be like then, but again, he's becoming a
but you add 2 years to his, he's going to be that much better too. Yeah. That's about it, I think, eh?
I mean, wouldn't shock me if Misha gets an invite to Slovakia's camp.
True. Yeah, guys like that. Yeah, there could be a couple of guys there. I'm talking now guys on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think those are probably the guys that would make it in their respective countries. All
I
right.
mean, with your goaltending too. I mean, actually, is Primo Canadian?
American.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was born when his father was with Philadelphia.
Yes, I think you're right.
So he's American.
Oh, more riches.
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, Canada is goaltending is not their strength right now. There's a dearth of Canadian goalies.
No, because it was Carter Hart, but after all that
That's the way it
situation
works,
happened,
sure.
I don't know who the hell you start. I mean, it might be Montembeault.
Well, they're saying Jarry, Aiden Hill, and Monty.
Well, the problem is
with the projected three right
Jari
now.
and Aiden Hill are both going to be in their 32, 33,
Again,
34.
Well, and Fleury too is right. So again,
I mean, Montembeault is going to be what? Montembeault will be 30, so he'll be the youngest out of all of them.
Yeah, no, Montembeault will be, and maybe because the other two guys are older, he may get a good look and be more than the third string guy.
I'll tell you this: with the firepower Team USA is going to have on offense, even if it is Montembeault, any of those three guys, I don't think you beat us.
We'll see what happens. Just because you have more firepower doesn't mean your Americans be a better balanced team.
No, I get that, but I think if it comes down to goaltending, I mean, we got you tenfold.
Okay, but still doesn't mean we're not gonna. No, we're gonna beat you. What are you even talking about? I hate that those days are gone where it's like we're Canada, we're gonna beat you. It's a given. It's no longer a given. And it's not even just to you guys.
You couldn't even beat Czechia on the World Juniors.
No, there's no longer a given for either of our countries anymore because there's teams that are.
But I really like improved. That. I like it being way more competitive. You know what I mean?
Of course, the hockey.
I think it's better for the game.
The disappointments may be bigger, but the hockey itself is so much better. And then if you do win, well, then you really are the best.
Oh yeah.
Not just because, you're the only good team. You know what I mean? It's not just that anymore. And believe me, when I was a kid, that is how it was for Canada. You guys weren't competition back then, and we were just the best team, and that's all there was.
Yeah, it was really just you guys and the Soviets until we beat them in 1980, and then the Soviets went down.
And then after 1980, you guys started to be a problem.
Yeah.
And it just which we knew, though. We knew here because of your population is so much bigger than ours. It was just a matter of time before American hockey players became as good as Canadian hockey players. And then the abundance of them, it was just a matter of time because of that. All right, let's move on to mention just this. If you're a Habs fan and maybe you like the minor teams, you might like the Rocket, which a lot of people do. And then there's the Trois-Rivières Lions. They are no more. They played their last game and in the ECHL, and they are no longer obviously an affiliate of the Montreal Canadiens. So don't know where they're going to place those players in their system that need to be in the ECHL. There's no news, but the Trois-Rivières Lions are no more. Very short-lived.
Yeah, it's only been 3-4 years?
3 or 4 at the most.
Yeah.
My first year doing this, there was no Trois-Rivières Lions, but maybe the second year.
I think it's 4 at the most. I want to say 3 years.
Me too. I want to say 3, but 4 at the most. Very short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
The little I know of it, I think it was poorly managed, and that's not on the Habs because they're just affiliate, right? So they're like contracted with their players. They're like that kind of thing. But the people who actually own the team and all that, I think they ran it very poorly. And that's what happened.
And that's typically why these things happen, right? I mean, historically.
Yeah, I mean, so it's as simple as
that. Or you decide to put a fucking team in Arizona. Well, you pick.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if your name is Gary Bettman. There's a big Jewish community in Arizona. Gary Bettman's Jewish. I'm not proud to say that he is, but he is. And maybe that he just wants somewhere to retire and have a team there, even though he doesn't really like hockey. Gary Bettman does not really like hockey.
Is that a factor?
I don't know if that's an official fact, but there are plenty of signs for that, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions. First of all, he was from basketball.
Yes, that I did know.
So that's what he took the job to be the big shot. And he liked to come down, like he loves to give the hammer. And he had a lot of work to do, obviously, for the the owners. But I don't believe he's an actual real hockey fan.
I can
He may
agree.
have come to know the game a bit over the years, but I don't think he's a real hockey fan. I don't.
I mean, I can't help but agree. I mean, look at a lot of the decisions. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they're going to try to put a team in Atlanta for the third fucking time. So it worked so well the first two.
Screams of basketball to me. I don't know why, but it does.
You know, I've been saying it. Like, if you want to expand again, I don't know why they're not looking at a state like Wisconsin. It's a great hockey state. You get a ton of support, which means you get a ton more money.
Yeah, I guess you know what
it would cost a bit of money to convert the Bucks Arena to play hockey.
They're not sexy enough. In that, if you know what I mean by that.
No, I get you. It's not like
It's not a sexy enough, big enough. I don't know what it is, but they are not interested in some really good spots that hockey can be successful. I think too. Maybe there's underlying things we don't know about.
There could be, but like Wisconsin to me has always stood out as like, you go and put a team in Milwaukee or put a team in like Green Bay. I think hockey would thrive in Wisconsin.
Wait, Green Bay though, that's a small. You're talking about now a small.
That's when it would have to be in Milwaukee, but I'm like the Bucks Arena's there. I mean, it would cost a bit of money to convert that to be able to play hockey in, but you'd make that back in a season with the amount of fans you'll get because hockey's huge in Wisconsin.
Well, I think they want to go though south more. It's going to be Houston or
Houston. I think it'd be fine. I think Houston would be fine. Atlanta's.
Atlanta.
They tried it twice. It didn't work. I don't know. Like,
I wouldn't go back there. I don't care what they say. The management was no good, and that was the big problem. And now they're good. Okay, but you struck out there twice already. And you know what? In a way, for the fans that are there. They're fine because they're fans. But what about when you want to always convert and bring in new fans, right? But those guys, they think about, well, it was a failure before. I'm not getting involved. Like, I think it's a negative that I don't know. I don't think it's good.
I mean, not only that, but like when I think of Atlanta, I'm thinking of football and I'm thinking of basketball.
Yeah, and you're thinking
Georgia in general, I'm thinking of football and basketball.
Well, and if you're thinking of hockey, you're thinking of the Atlanta Flames failed. Thrashers failed. So
great jerseys, great name.
Failure.
Failed.
You're thinking failure right off. If you're not already, I'm a big hockey fan, can't wait. You're kind of thinking of, yeah, let's see how it goes before I get into it, right? Like I think they're going to face some of that, and good management or bad management, I don't know if that's a good thing when you're dealing with that negativity.
No, it's not. Like I think a city like Houston. I think would work, mainly because Houston's just a big sports town. Like I think Houston, I think you could convert a lot of people to hockey if you put a team there because they're sports crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that would work fine. Salt Lake I'd be open to. I think Salt Lake City would be all right. But like I said, for me, it'd be Houston or Milwaukee.
Salt Lake City worries me. It's a dry town, right? Isn't it dry?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a problem. Too religious there. I don't know that works for sports. Honestly, I don't.
Well, I kind of agree there. Then again, I mean, it worked. It works for the Jazz. You could convert some hockey people, but like I said, I think Houston makes a lot of sense, and even though it's not a big, sexy name, like
what hockey players
would be great because they'd make a fuckload of money.
You think there's like how many hockey players really want to go to a dry city or a dry state
or live there?
To live there for whatever time they're there. How many really want to do that?
Yeah.
I would think it's like they're, like in Canada with the taxes, right? It's a problem, right? And the dollar and all that. You're creating a problem before you get started. I think that why do that? Oh, they have $1 billion to pay the price. Oh, okay, but
You mean
that's
hockey
why you
players
don't
want to
care
get
about
woken up
Atlanta.
every day at 6 a.m. to hear about the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Right. And then that's why you don't care about, you're not worried about Atlanta because you're just looking for that $1 billion. You don't really care. And then that's why they got in trouble in Arizona.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, look at how that's going too. They didn't even have a plan for it. Like, I don't know how the league hasn't stepped in because they're not going to be able to put a new arena in.
Why the league hasn't stepped in? Because Gary Bettman has a freaking hard on for them. Don't know why.
I guarantee you, if by somehow like Arizona ever gets to a cup final playing in mullet, nobody's watching it because nobody wants to see the cup raised in a fucking college arena.
I think I know why he likes Phoenix or Arizona so much. He's old. His wife is old. He's gotten used to sticking it in something dry and gritty. And he likes it. I think that's what it is. It's a good theory.
No, I don't. But
it's literally unexplainable what his hold, what Arizona's hold is over either the ownership of the league, all the owners, or just Gary Bettman. Like, I don't know who's the one making the decision, but somebody's into Arizona falsely. Like, there's nothing to back it up over the years. How many years has it been? Oh, it's going to still be a success. Really? When? Because
how many they made the playoffs? What, once or twice?
Twice, maybe. But when is it going to be a success? As far as fans and
I mean, during the regular season and up until now, because college is starting to wrap up. Like, most of the people in that arena are college kids.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no.
I mean, the arena, the gate revenue alone is nothing compared to like any other team.
And you're in the league how many years? 20? How many years are they in? 25 years? More than that?
Before I was born.
So they're in the league a long time. They haven't, like, if they're not making money there after 25 fucking years, why are they still there?
And that's why I make the case for Wisconsin. I know it's not like a sexy name like Milwaukee or whatever, but you know how much money you can make because of how big hockey is in that state? I can make a shitload of money.
It's just here in Quebec. Go to Quebec City, make more money than Arizona. Right? Just that.
We make more money on this channel than Arizona.
I'm not saying they'd go there, but if you did, you'd be more successful than Arizona.
We're more successful than Arizona, and we don't make any money.
What do you mean, Boston?
No, the Talking Habs.
Oh, right. Pretty much. Yeah, we're the Arizona.
We get more people in the live chat than they do in the fucking stadium.
We're the Arizona of YouTube. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just making my point. Like, it's gotta, like, if you were to actually open up the books, like, there's no way that organization isn't hemorrhaging money from the league.
The Montreal Canadiens make more money in one season than I think Arizona has made in the 25.
And that season was like 1950.
No, but seriously, they make good money with they're a popular team all over the world.
Oh, you will.
The profits they make, I don't think
Arizona probably make more money.
I don't think Arizona's made right, but I don't think Arizona's made that like from what Montreal makes in 1 year in like 25 years.
Well, I mean, it's impossible to even do it now because they play in a college. Like the gate revenue alone is nothing.
No, it's
nothing
joke.
Compared to like these, and even the Sharks.
It's a joke. Speaking of jokes, let's move on to the officials because that's what they are, right? I mean, it's getting to be a joke what's going on with referees calling games. Either, as I said to Cam earlier today, either they're blind or, in my opinion, they're corrupt. Maybe a combination of the two, but I think it's, or as Cam put in, or they're just idiots. which is his belief. My belief is that they are corrupt and bad. I think it's a combination of them not being great.
Oh, no,
anyway.
they're definitely idiots. Like,
Yeah,
that's part of
and
the
being
puzzle.
corrupt, because I see corruption in the in what's going on. Not in, and I'm not speaking of to the Habs. I'm talking about everywhere, because more and more and more now you're seeing these complaints from every fan base, from the coaches and the GMs. Now you're seeing these complaints. So there's something wrong with the refs. And you know what? When you have gambling and you're in bed with gambling, which the NHL is, and so is every other sport today, when you're in bed with gambling and you're seeing problems with the refs, I don't know how you don't put the two together, because there's a correlation. There has to be.
I mean, honestly, even to play devil's advocate a little bit too, even if there isn't now, like it's almost an inevitability, right? Like,
well, right. Because, and now here's my theory, and I think I don't know where we talked about it last. This is my theory about gambling and why the refs might be a problem, and it's gambling. When you bet on a team, if your team is the underdog, you don't have to put out as much money, but if you win, you take in a lot.
correct.
When your team is the favorite, you have to put out more money than you will win back. Am I right?
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, depending on what the odds look like. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, look,
basically,
literally, you would, in general, you do, but especially depending on the odds, like if your team, say, is like a minus 1,000 point favorite, you have to risk $1,000 to win 100.
Right. So if that team that you risked 1,000 to win 100 wins, their payout is low.
Right. And if you have a team that
if you have a team that
you
had
plus $1,000, I wager $10, I hit, that's like $1,000 payout.
Right. So they're taking it a little bit,
or not 1,000.
A lot.
You wager 100 on that, it'd be 1,000.
So it's not hard to think that their interest is to try to get the favorites to win as often as possible. Right? How do the refs come in? The refs cannot decide the game that way, but what they can do is push the odds to it a lot better by trying to push the game in that direction with bad calls, untimely calls for teams, like in pushing and watch the games in more often than
if you
not.
want to use the Habs example too, like that game against Edmonton, that double minor with 3 minutes left.
But just watch games in general. The favorite is kind of getting the calls and getting looked away from when they're making the penalties. And the other team is either getting bullshit calls, made up calls, and I don't even know what the fuck calls. And I'm serious. So my theory is 100% gambling and refereeing. There's a corruption there. And it's because of just what I said, money. If you're in bed with gambling, they want to make money. And then if you need their money for the advertising, and you go, well, we need your money, they're going to tell you what the fuck to do. And that's what we're seeing. And when it does come out, you'll all say I was right.
Oh, look, I mean, it like I said, I don't want to like for sure say that, but I again, it's certainly in the realm of possibility. I mean, just
the evidence is kind of there.
No, it is.
Some of it may be conjecture or whatever they call that. I do get that. Some of it can be circumstantial right now, but there's so much of it, and there's so many other things, and I don't know. It's not, to me, it's just too many things pointing to that is a problem. Is it the only reason? It might not be the only reason. It's a big contributing factor to what's wrong with the refs.
No, it's well within the realm of possibility. Like I said, for me, I like to believe that doesn't happen, but no, I mean, in this day and age with gambling fucking everywhere, and I forget who introduced it in the Senate. in the U.S. Senate, but there was a senator that introduced legislation that would like ban the constant commercials and stuff like that, which I'm fine with because I'm so sick and tired. Like I get it. Like we can go on our phones and bet. I don't need to see fucking 3 commercials in a row at 3 different gambling sites when I'm trying to fucking watch hockey.
Just that tells me I'm right because they're pushing it so much that it's all about money. And when there's money involved like that, someone is corrupt. Someone is going to want to be corrupt and try. Someone is going to be doing that. Well, I believe it's the gambling sites forcing it on the league in a way because they need the money from the gambling sites. They need the advertising that they're giving them to make all those commercials. They're selling their fucking soul and the game that we love to the gambling sites for money. That's what I think's going on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's certainly in the realm of possibility. Like I said, I want to believe that doesn't happen, but you know, again, it's certainly not something that'd be new to sports. I mean, just historically, if you look at sports throughout the years, you know, even back in, you know, in like 1902 when you were about my age, like stuff like that. Granted, it wasn't legal sports betting; it was the mob.
Well, the World Series that was thrown, the Boston
1919
Black Sox incident. I mean, look at that, right? Back then.
But again, that wasn't like legal sports betting or anything. That was the mob, but still, like.
So what do you think? What do you think that is here now? You think the gambling sites aren't organized crime? No, wait a second. You seriously think that it's at least some of that is not organized crime? It's gambling. Who do you think's into gambling most is organized crime? And organized crime to exist today has to legalize them, like get more legit. That's how they've done it. Matt doesn't want to hear it anymore.
I just don't want to say the wrong thing and then hear enough.
The gambling sites are going to come after us and shut us down.
Why is the boss of one of the 5 families at my front door?
Yeah. Listen, we have no proof. They won't come after us.
It's the crazy old guy candidate. It's not me, I swear.
We have no proof. But I mean, you know, it's common sense. It's what's been going on forever in the world, in our history.
Oh, it's not ever.
Money.
As long as gambling's been around, there's all.
If there's money, there's corruption.
Yeah.
All there is to it. So why is it different here? Because it's sports and it's not supposed to be that way? No. It's not, and it's what's happening here because there's a definite correspondence with the how bad officiating has gotten in every single sport since their alliance with the gambling sites. So explain that. There's too many circumstantial things that there's not. If there's smoke, there's probably fire.
Yeah,
and it'll come out. You know, it'll come out eventually. It'll come out that this is happening, and I'll be proved right. I'll probably be.
We also know that they do look for makeup calls. So you know, again, like I said, for me, nothing would surprise me at all.
Right. I mean, and we knew the makeup call thing before the heavily involvement with gambling, but you put that and then bring in that, and they're already kind of attuned to cheating a little bit.
You're doing makeup calls just for makeup calls, and now you're going, I can get paid for that?
Right. Now we're willing to pay you to make those calls. They're going to say, nah, you know what? We don't need the money. Who says that ever? So, and then on top of that, the league is going, hey, you know what they're asking? Yeah, we're okay with it now. Right? And so it's not happening? Right. And it was Cam saying hasn't been an NHL incident with officiating and this kind of corruption. I think there has been an incident, and it's not Tim Peel because Tim Peel got caught with the hot mic. So he wasn't admitting to that. But didn't someone get caught trying to fix games? Or am I thinking of basketball?
I think basketball.
There was one in basketball. I know that. But am I confusing?
Oh, I mean, throughout the years, it's a couple times.
Okay, but there was one. I remember that it was a big thing. I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe a little more than that.
Yeah, it was basketball.
Definitely that was basketball. But I think there was one in hockey. Maybe there hasn't been, but there will be soon or eventually, because that's what's going on here. It's my opinion.
Oh, I think it still happens in basketball. I mean, I've seen, like I said, I've seen games where like shit gets called with like a tenth of a second left.
Well,
and
see, this is
and it messes up, either who's gonna win or it'll mess up like the over under, and it's like.
And this is what I'm.
It's like the only other explanation I have. The only explanation for calling a foul there at that particular time,
right,
is because
you're trying to change the odds.
You're trying to make it so it's not a big payout. Like
right, you're trying
last in the NCAA tournament, there were 2 games like that, and everybody was like, the only reason that happened was to fix the game. Like there's no other explanation why you're calling a foul that's not a foul with a tenth of a second left.
And that
when you know that point going on the board is going to flip the over-under.
And the Edmonton game, with seconds left basically in the game, they called a literal bullshit call because they reviewed it and overlooked the fact that it wasn't, Armia had nothing to do with the high stick, really.
Yeah.
It was pushed in. His stick got pushed in by an Edmonton player on purpose to get the call. Like, literally, that's what it looked like. So how do you tell me that's not?
Maybe that's why they don't want to put in the coach's challenge for penalties, because everything's gonna fucking get overturned.
But so tell me though, that's not an effort to make, because it was a tied game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they didn't review it, I could just chalk it up to this being dumb. But the fact that they reviewed it kind of makes me agree with you. Like, how can you review that and not change the call?
Gotta ask Harry, because Harry says he would have. No.
After the review, I would have said, "Oh, well,
yeah.
no,
this is not a."
Oilers player there puts his stick into the other. There's nothing Armia could have done.
That's right. You come back with saying, after the review, the call on the ice has been overturned, no penalty. That's what should have happened.
At the heat of the moment, yeah, I would have called it because I would have saw the stick.
I get that. No, I get it.
When you review that, it's the review that pissed me off.
It's the review that
you just looked at that in slow motion and you didn't overturn something else is going on.
Yeah, it's the review that makes you see that what's going on. Like you said, if you don't review that, okay, you can understand maybe they didn't see it in the heat of the moment. But when you look at that and you come away and say, yeah, no penalty, or it's a penalty, how? How do you look at, how do you make that call and then look in the camera when asked the question and go, yeah, no, that was a penalty? No. That's why they need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Especially because of the gambling aspect. More than ever, they need to be held accountable for the calls to keep that away.
I agree.
Is that it, though? I think we're done. Did we rant enough?
No, but I mean, it's a good rant. I mean, like you said, I mean, we've seen coaches now get fed up over it. Like, it's not just us complaining about this now. It's not.
No, coaches are, and some GMs. It's the coaches now are legitimately complaining about it. Were there like Torts? Marty in the game.
Hilarious when Torts refused to leave the bench.
Right, Torts. I mean, he's fed up with them. Marty, a couple of times in his last, he was away for 4 games, but just before there was, I forget what the call was, and he was on the bench, and he said something about, that's ridiculous. They're fed up with it, I guess the owners aren't.
But what the owners care for? Money's still going in their pockets. What the hell do they care?
Because they're the ones with the power to change it, but they're not going to change it because they're getting the money from the fucking gambling.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
It's happening, and it can't be changed because the people that will change it don't want to change it. But they want to gaslight us. And you know what, though? When you think about this will be the last thing I think, though. Bettman saying NHL refs, best officials anywhere in sport. The sad part is, from what I'm hearing from you and the other guys and other people, is that it's true. The other sports are that bad.
Baseball umpires. As a whole, are better than the other major sports. There are some that suck,
Okay.
but as a whole, like there's a lot of still a lot of really good umpires.
Okay, so he's
like
not
there's guys
that
when I
far
see
off.
the ump crew before a game, I go, all right, this game will be fine.
Okay,
I
but
know
the
these
sad
guys.
part
They
is
call a good game. They've never had
it's
an
still
issue.
sad that this, as bad as our refs are, they're better than most officials anywhere else.
Yeah.
And there's gambling in every other fucking league, and that's the reason why. On that note, we're going to take off, and hope you guys enjoyed the pod. Had a good time doing it. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, Harry will be back with us
Had a
next
lot of fun
week.
talking college hockey. Tournament starts tomorrow. Go Terriers.
The national tournament.
Tournament starts tomorrow.
Yeah, and Hudson's that team's gonna do well. More than likely, we're not gonna get to see him till the last 2 games of the season. Just saying. We'll be back next week for episode 20, and who knows what's going on then? We'll figure it out. So you can follow us on Spotify. You can subscribe right here on YouTube. That is, if this goes out live, we're not 100% sure that it's going to go out as video. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought. If you have any ideas for next shows, please do that in the comments, and let other people know about us. And let people know that you think this is the greatest hockey podcast there is, and you gotta listen to it. But seriously, just let your friends know. And we'll be back next week. I'm going to stop talking now. Matt, you got anything to add?
No.
So that's it. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out. And have a great week. And then go Habs, go. Ciao, everybody.
Later, people.